How's it going today, everybody? New to the channel, I want to welcome you to Iron Antler Adventures. I'm James. I promised a buddy of mine, Ben from Kratos Magnetics, I would make him a hunting knife. So this is the beginning. He wants to see it from beginning to end. So we've got our coal forge fired up, and we're going to get ready to put the metal in there, and we'll take you through the process. Thank you for watching. Alright, I got this old spring. It's off of a railroad car. This is what I'm going to make the knife out of. There, we got a piece. We're going to start with this piece and see what we can do with it. You didn't know I was that strong, did you? Alright, we got our piece of metal. We're going to stick it in the fire, get it hot so we can straighten it out. I'll have to grab my gloves. It's going to take it a while to get up to temperature to bend it out. All right. Now we're going to start straightening this out. It's been a day or two since I've done any forging, so I'm a little bit rusty at it. Woo! She's starting to straighten out. Getting straighter. I've had people ask me, when you're blacksmithing, are you going to get burnt? Yeah, you're going to get burnt. It's not the question of are you going to, it's how bad. And you got to be thinking all the time. So far I've been lucky to have it done it, but I have seen blacksmiths drop a piece. Your first instinct is to reach down and grab it, and I've seen them grab it with bare hands and it burned them pretty bad. So yeah, you will get burnt at some point, multiple times doing this. I had a piece land on my shoulder one night and I didn't know it until it burnt through my shirt and in through my shoulder. There wasn't no getting it loose once it stuck to the skin. Alright, this is just a reminder, we started with this. So far, we're right here with this. We're going to work this on out, flatten it, make it more narrow, start to shape the blade, and go from there. Alright, when you're forging with coal, it has this stuff come out of it. And that's the waste out of the coal, or the impurities. They call it a clinker. I don't know why they call it a clinker, but that's what they call it. You can see how it's got a little wider, a little thinner. We're going to work her some more. Alright, if you can see how this kind of gets wider out here at the end, what we're going to do is lay it on the anvil. We're going to knock it back down about even. And we're going to start stretching it out a little bit more. That way we'll try to keep it even all the way out. Alright, I'm going to start working in the tip. You can see how that's starting to round over. Alright, you can see the tip starting to come out a little better. We worked it on the flat piece of the anvil, and then we went out here to the horn, come around, give just that little bit of curve, and bring it under. So we're going to work on the blade a little more. Alright, working with the coal forge, you got to be careful. I almost burnt this up. Just about got it too hot. It was starting to spark, so hopefully I didn't ruin the metal in it. We'll find out when we get the finished product, but that's one of the things that you got to be careful of. So right now you can kind of see we got the blade coming around. Right in here, we're going to start here and go back for the handle. I was looking for my tape measure. I know I got it here somewhere. There it is. So what we're looking at basically is going to be around a 5-inch blade, close to a 5-inch blade. That should be plenty big enough, long enough for a hunting knife. I prefer a shorter blade over the great big old 10-11 inch one. I know it's a little thick, but we will get that sanded down, and we're not done with it yet, so we're going to get back to hammering. Alright, we've already established where our blade is, so we're going to start on our handle. What I'll do when I get done is I'll take a hacksaw or a grinder and cut this off. I'm not going to sit there and round that all out. But right now what we're trying to do is put an arch in here for the handle. Well, hopefully you can see the shape of the knife. Here's your blade, comes around here. Here's your handle. I got to do a little more work on that, but we're starting to get there. Alright, I don't remember if I showed you guys this or not, but this, if in case you don't know, it's called a flattening hammer. It's got a flat edge on it. You lay this on the blade, take another hammer and hit this, so between this and the face of the anvil, it flattens out the metal. Takes a lot of those hammer dents out of it. So that's what we're getting ready to do. Lay your blade on the anvil. Take this hammer, put it on there. Move down. It helps to flatten. Alright, hopefully you can see the knife in there. But the blade stops here, the handle. I'm going to cut this off. I won't film that. I've got to do some sanding. What I'll do is take this, put it in those coals and let the heat die down. Let it cool slowly, and that'll help take the temper out where it works a lot better. Sometimes I'll take it and stick it in a bucket of ashes. That lets it cool at a slower speed and take the temper out, which makes it a lot easier to work. So after I've cut this off and did a little sanding, I'll show you where we're at then. Also, I don't know if I showed you this, but I did make my own bevel jig. My tripod, I couldn't find a piece for it, so I have to put this in a vise. There's the vise I'm holding it in, believe that or not. But I made this bevel jig right here, and I lay the blade in here, and then I take this file, I clamp the blade in and I work it, put the bevel on it. So that's how I bevel most of my blades. But when I get this cut off here, I'll sand it, smooth it up some. Then I'll get back with you and show you kind of what we're looking like then. Alright, even though we used the flattening hammer, you can see there's still some places in here I've been sanding on it. And what I do is lay it flat up here and hold it so I can sand it all flat, get it smooth. It's a long process, but that's what I go through. Then when I get this all even and smooth, then I'll start working the rest of the blade.
Let's go see what Beard's doing.
Oh, hello everybody. Alright, I've been sanding on this thing for both sides probably 2 hours. And I still got a little more to go. You can see there's a little place here, there's a little place here. This is really hot right now. Oh, Mr. Kratos, this is my first fishing magnet right here. Sorry, it's not a Kratos, but it works good for this.
Not for magnet fishing.
Not for magnet fishing. As you can see on this side, I have a few more little indentions, but when I put the bevel on this side, I'll take those right out. I just have a little bit more to go here, and then I will run the back on the sander here. I'll smooth this up. I'll make this tip a little better. I'll work this handle in. I'll show you a little bit as I go along, but most of this will be done on the sander. And anybody that thinks forging is easy hasn't tried it. And even with all this work I'm doing, when I get ready to quench this blade, there could be a stress fracture. It could snap in half, and then I have to start all over again. So even getting this far, there's no guarantee you're going to have a finished blade when it's over with. Hopefully we do, but you never know. All right, I've used my bevel jig on both sides to get this bevel on there. I've been hand sanding this side. You can see how shiny it is. I do that to get all scratches, or as many of the scratches out as I can from the file, all the deep gouges. And I'll do that on this side. Alright, that wheel right there is called a sisal wheel. It's got like little pieces of straw and stuff in it. And we have this cutting compound that we use. And we put on there. And I use that to shine up and look at the knife to make sure I get most of the scratches out. And if you can see, compared to that side, how dull it is, it shines it right up. Alright, we got both sides sanded down. What I do is I pre-drill my holes, and then I will take I'm going to use Missouri walnut for the handle. I'll put that on there. I'll lay the knife up. I'll tape that around there so it doesn't move when I put it in position. I'll drill one hole, put a pin through there, drill another hole, put a pin through there, so that way it can't shift and move around on me. Alright, I got the handle. This is the way I do it. I tape it on. I went ahead and poked the holes where these go, where the pins go. I got these pins. I'll drill the hole, first hole. Alright, now I got the tape off of it. I got the pins in it. I can outline this handle and cut it out on the bandsaw. Then I will split it in two and flatten it. That way I can put it on each side and decide whether I want to put a little bit of curve in the front of this handle or what I want to do. I'll show you when I get to that point. Alright, here's the handle so far. We'll put it back on there and see how close to the size it is. Then we'll cut it right down the middle, put it on each side, look at it. A lot of people wait to the very end to get the handle ready. I like to do it beforehand, so that way when I'm done with the blade I can slap the handle on. Alright, I got a line drawn down the middle. I'm going to cut that in half. Then we'll have each side of our handle. Alright, here's your knife scales. We'll slap them on the blade real quick. There you go, the mosaic pin. I will be putting brass in here instead of aluminum. I have a lot of work to do to the handle yet, but that's just kind of what it'll look like, as long as everything goes well. Hopefully Benny will be happy with it. Here's another knife I'm working on for another friend of mine. I'm going to leave it rustic looking. Got a little more work to do on the handle, but both blades are about ready to be heated up, stuck into the oil. Alright, we're going to get these blades good and hot, hopefully. I put in a couple old railroad spikes. I'm going to get them red hot, stick them in my oil to heat my oil up. Alright, you can see that spike's hot. We're going to stick it in oil and heat our oil. Alright, I have a little magnet. This blade is magnetic. I'll get it hot enough that it's no longer magnetic, then I'll quench it in the oil. Alright, all that hard work comes down to this. Looks straight. I didn't hear no pings, no cracks. We won't know for sure till we clean it up. File escapes. So we got her good and hard. So our next process, once it cools down, I'll clean the oil off of it. And I'll put it in the oven at 350 degrees for an hour. Take it out, let it cool down, put it in the oven for 350 degrees for an hour. And we want it to be a light straw color. That puts the temper back in it and takes some of the hardness out where it's not a brittle blade. Alright, we wiped a little bit of the oil off of it. When it cools off enough, we will take some light sandpaper, or maybe even take some steel wool and soap and get that most of that oil off of it. Then we'll stick her in the oven. Alright, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a straw color to it. We put it in the oven. That put the temper back in it. And the edge, you can see, I usually leave it 1/8 to 1/16 wide before I quench the blade. I don't want it too thin. So now we'll put the last bevel on to get it sharp. Put the handle on, polish it up, work on the handle. I don't see any cracks or anything, so I think we're good to go. I did do the drop test on it. It stayed together, so we'll see you on the next stage. Alright, we got the handle on. We got her all sanded. I got some more sanding to do, some final sanding. There's that mosaic pin. Never done that before. And put the bevel on the blade and polish her up. Make sure it's good and sharp. Should be done. Alright, Benny, there's your knife. I hope you like it. I gotta wash it up a little bit on the blade because I've got some fingerprints on it. Use Missouri walnut. That's my first ever mosaic pin I ever made. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.